When one hears such a diverse and flat judgments, it is easy to become confused and questions may arise. If people tend to ignore historical lessons, why should we care at all about it? Maybe it is our destiny to be ever-forgetting beings in this world. Or if it's so crucial to learn history, what does it really mean? How and what can we learn from history? In what way history can be our best teacher, and what does it teach? These were the questions 40 youngsters from Austria and Latvia asked themselves before setting on a journey through space and time, and now you will see the answers they found.
In our EU project, History is Our Best Teacher, we were divided in groups, and our group is about the Amber Road and trading. We went to Latvia, the beginning of the Amber Road. At the Baltic Sea, we collected amber on the beach, like the people in the time of the Romans. In Latvia, we visited Liepāja, the city of amber. Near the city, the largest piece of amber has been found. The Romans loved this stone because of its attribute to make electricity. They thought it would be a magical stone which brings luck. It was a status symbol when you wear jewelry out of amber. The Amber Road starts in the Baltic states, goes on to Carnuntum and ends in Aquileia, Italy. From there, the amber got shipped through the rest of the Roman Empire. We drove the whole way to Latvia by train to have a look how long the Amber Road is. So we could imagine how much time the people must have needed in former times to bring the amber to the Roman Empire. They didn't have good means of transport like we have today, so it was surely not easy for them. In the second part of the project, we went from Carinthia, Austria, through Slovenia to Aquileia, where the Amber Road ends. In Ljubljana, we went to the market, where we saw the people trading like in former times. In Aquileia, we went to a museum where we could see the amber collection, which is still there from the Roman Empire. But we didn't just think about amber, our other point was trading. In former times, the people traded with things they made by hand, like poultry, glasswork, iron and so on. Trading in our times is also not limited to physical objects. We also trade datas, stocks and pay with plastic money. So also the value of the money has changed. So the question is, what does that do to us? What is the consequence of buying and paying things on the internet? That's worth to think about. On the one hand, it is much easier to buy and to sell things. On the other hand, the value of the things is changing if you just see a picture on your computer instead the real thing by itself. Another fact is that there is a change in trading. One of these changes is that they made the things by hand in former time, till the factories were built. After that, nearly everything was made in factories. What's really important about trading is that it connects countries and different cultures. It shows the people that there is more out there, that there are other cultures that may be very different from ours. Trading can be the possibility to break through walls, which have been built around the country, and it has also the very practical feature that you can get things which you can't get in your own country. But trading can also be destructive if forests and habitats are destroyed to make more money. So it would be surely a great idea to think about our consumer behavior, because it can change big things in the world.
Our group is about traditional crafts. We had a unique opportunity to see both Austrian and Latvian craftsmen. During this project we traveled across Latvia and Austria. We saw a lot of handcrafted things and met few craftsmen. We not only saw them in action but also had an opportunity to craft something ourselves.
In Latvia, pottery has a long tradition. In former times, they used the pots out of Latvian black clay to cook above coal and to store food in. On one of our trips through Latvia, we were able to visit the potter. The interesting thing about his work process was that he used ancient techniques of Latvian black clay pottery. This means, of course, that he produces his goods without electricity except from the bulb he needs to light his working place. To get the turntable to rotate, he accelerates a round stone plate with his feet, which turns a smaller plate above. To get a better grip and feeling to the plate, he works barefoot. After the pots are formed to the right shape, they need to dry for a while in ambient temperature, before they get fired in an oven, which of course works also without any electronic power.
We went to the small village in Slovenia called Kropa. There was a blacksmith who was working just like in the Middle Ages, without technologies and electricity. In the blacksmith's workshop were many of anvils where he was making nails. In 16th century, blacksmiths had to make 2,000 nails for a day. Blacksmiths used water of rivers to get energy for machines. We got a chance to make a nail ourselves, and then we understood how hard is it to make only one little nail.
Technological developments are one of the most fundamental drivers of history. The evolution of technology even constitutes an integral part of our concept of historical progress itself. Near the city Ventspils, there is an array of two radio telescopes, one 32-meter dish and one 16-meter dish. Both of these were built for espionage purposes by the Soviet Union. After the fall, the telescope was partly dismantled by the Russian army and then taken over by Latvian scientists. It was repaired and used for scientific purposes. We visited the smaller of these two telescopes, and we even had the possibility of a guided tour. This permitted us to climb on top of the satellite dish.
Our group researched the topic fear and how fear is used as a tool of control. We visited many historical locations, mostly prisons, to get a better understanding of what fear is and what people would have felt back then. We visited a prison in Liepāja in Latvia, which was used by the Soviets. The prisoners were soldiers who either fled the front lines or disobeyed the orders from their superiors. The prison conditions were horrible and inhumane. The cells were overcrowded, the food was inedible, and the wardens were like dictators to the inmates. Recently, the prison has been converted to a tourist attraction. Our class visited this attraction and experienced what the soldiers would have experienced. The Loibel concentration camp is a sub-camp of Mauthausen. Many of the prisoners at Loibel were brought from Mauthausen to the Austrian-Yugoslav border. As the name already explains, the Leubel concentration camp is located on the Leubel Pass. The main task of the prisoners was to build the tunnel through the mountain. In the sub-camp there were two camps, one on the southern side and one on the northern side. On the northern side the conditions were much worse and the guards sent prisoners to the northern side as a punishment. This kind of punishment was not only for prisoners, but also for the guards. After this trip, we interviewed our classmates about their experiences in the prison. And this is what we came up with. Fear is one of the most important emotions that we humans feel. Naturally, fear is a defense mechanism to make us more careful and aware during dangerous or stressful situations. But fear can also be abused. As history shows, almost all big powers have used fear as a tool to keep people in control and to demoralize the enemies. Former US President Richard Nixon said that there needs to be a big superpower that everyone fears, to keep every country in control and to prevent warfare and enforce peace.
There grows a tree in Israel that tells us that courage can. There grows a tree in Yad Vashem where dullness isn't shame. There grows a tree in Israel that asks, who will be helped today? These are the words of Oskar Schindler. The Holocaust was the time when Nazi Germany killed over 6 million Jews during the Second World War. At that time, Nazi power killed Jews, gypsies, homosexuals and communists. Concentration camps were established in which inmates were subjected to slave labor until they died of exhaustion, hunger or disease. Jews were killed because many people wrongly thought that all Jews were frauds and that they had a lot of money that shouldn't be theirs. Hitler was born in Austria during this time when many people disliked Jews, so Hitler may have been influenced by them and was jealous of Jews' success. Before Hitler even had the power, his big goal was to get rid of all the Jews and start a new world war. Because of Jewish genocide and Nazi regime terror, civil people who were free from the horrible regime were afraid, so they betrayed many Jews to the Nazis just to keep their families safe. But there were also people who helped Jews and others who were arrested and tried to save them. In Latvia, the one who saved the most Jews was Janis Lipke, and in Austria it was Oskar Schindler. Janis Lipke was born in 1900, on the 1st of February, in Jelgava, Latvia. He was a dock worker in the port of Riga that terminated to help save Latvian Jews from capture by the Nazis after witnessing actions against them in streets. He retrained in order to become a contractor of the Luftwaffe and then used his position to smuggle Jewish workers out of Riga, ghetto and camps in and around Riga. Janis and his wife hid the Jews in their home and some places in Dobela. In total, Lipka saved 55 Jews. Oskar Schindler was born on the 28th of April 1908 in Mahien, in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. He was the leader of German ordnance factory. He grew up in a very Catholic family, but when he grew up, he stopped to believe in God. In his factory, there were 800 workers who were slaves, forced to work there by the regime. 370 of those workers were Jews. Oskar wanted to help Jews and other restrained people. That's why he risked his life money and everything just to reach his goal to help others in the fight against the regime. In total, Schindler saved the lives of 1,200 Jewish people. He helped them to hide and to escape from the regime. Schindler died on the 9th of October in 1974 in Hildesheim, Germany.
Our topic is multicultural. It's a big topic with a lot of different views. On the one hand, two people come together who may not know a lot about the other, but try to find out what is different and what is the same. On the other hand, every country, for example Latvia and Austria, have their own story and therefore their own view on multiculture. The whole project was about multiculture, but two trips were special for our group work. First, the trip to Daugavpils in Latvia, and second, our tour in Villach, where we heard stories about the Corinthian Slovenian in Villach in the Second World War. Also, we went to Loiblas and Ljubljana in Slovenia, and in the history lessons we spoke about the influence from one culture to another in the past and today. In the time of the Soviet occupation of Latvia, a lot of Russians were brought to Latvia. Daugavpils is so close to the border of Russia, so a large Russian community settled down there. Also, during the Russian Empire, there existed a very multicultural community in Daugavpils. One of the most known places in Daugavpils is the Hill of Churches. There are 4 different churches really close to each other. There were Russian Orthodox, Catholic and Lutheran churches. That shows that they could live together without arguing. In the past, would fight over religion, but in this case they could live in one place together. In Austria, especially in Carinthia, there is Slovenian minority. The problems in the peaceful lifestyle in this area started when it was not clear where Carinthia belongs to. After the First World War, they decided to be a part of Austria, and in the Second World War, after the annexation from Austria to Germany, the Slovenian ethnic group needed to become like Germans. From one to another day, Slovenian teachers got exchanged with German-speaking teachers, and priests couldn't use Slovenian language in their church. This time was difficult, because many people didn't know any German. The Corinthian Slovenian needed to give up their traditions and language. Today, people want to reconnect again, and most of the young people are trying to mix up the cultures. But we need to be careful that we don't lose our own traditions in trying to be one. The hard thing when you try to live multicultural life, you have to keep your own traditions, but also be open to other cultures. We think that some people are scared to lose their way of life, which give them safety. We should be strong in our own culture, but at the same time be open-minded to other traditions. Tolerance is what we need in multiculture, because only when we accept and respect other cultures, we can have a free and peaceful life.
The video and images you saw and the stories you heard are the result of research done by youngsters from Austria and Latvia during this project, and should be considered only as a starting point for the future research. Aim of the project was not only to research facts of history, but also to transform the history, the knowledge we received in a new way, and one of the ways was art. As you can see in those images, each group were asked to transform their theme of history into a particular piece of art. The result of project were not only some knowledge, but also feelings and emotions which were acquired during the exchanges, during the living in the families and other activities. The best thing such projects can bring to society, public, and to youngsters themselves are definitely the new relationships, the new friendships and new comradeships which were developed during this project. During this project, students were able to learn and to ask different questions about history, and they tried to make history their best teacher. The only thing I can wish for the future, that history still remains our and their best teacher also in the future, and that we try not to forget the lessons history has given us, and that we all work for the better future.